Right now, though, the teams are making their way out at the Westfalenstadion, the yellow wall in full voice. And for Newcastle United, the games just get bigger. Will they fall short against Dortmund once again in the Champions League? Or can they take revenge tonight in Germany and boost their chances of qualifying from the group of death? Taking you through this one, former Newcastle manager Alan Pardew. But first, your match commentator for this evening, Sam Matterface.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, Eddie Howe was appointed on the 8th of November 2021, 2 years ago tomorrow. In the 729 days that have passed since, Newcastle have gone from a team languishing in the Premier League relegation zone to this. A date with Dortmund and a congregation of their ear-splitting fans, both fighting to stay in the Champions League. It shows the meteoric rise of a football club that won't forget where it came from and won't lose sight of where it wants to go. 4 points at the halfway stage is respectable, but defeat to Dortmund has left the Toon locked together with the perennial German runners-up. And Newcastle fans know and believe that increasingly looks like either them or us for a place in the last 16. Borussia Dortmund have won 16 of their last 20 home games, but they've had a miserable weekend. Their confidence was hit by the thrashing by Bayern Munich. Edin Terzic, the manager of Borussia Dortmund, admitted Bayern was superior to them in every aspect on Saturday, and they know they will have to be a lot better and switched on if they're to get through this game unscathed. Newcastle in very good form, and the papers in Germany this morning were all full of talk about a Dortmund crisis. There definitely will be one should Newcastle come here and win, and 20,000 Geordies have packed into the city of Dortmund to see if they can. Our referee tonight is Alejandro Hernandez of Spain, and he just goes through the formalities with the two captains. I'll run through the two teams, starting off with Newcastle. Nick Pope is the goalkeeper. Trippier, Lascelles, Scher and Hull make up the back four, with Longstaff, Bruno Guimaraes and Joe Willock. Then it's Joel Linton on the left, Livramento on the right and Callum Wilson in the centre. That's how we think they will line up tonight. Gregor Kobel is the Dortmund goalkeeper. Nicolas Süle at right back, Hummels, Schlotterbeck and Ryerson. Then it's Nemetja, Özcan and Sabitzer, who was on loan at Manchester United last year. Julian Brandt is right side, Adeyemi left and Füllkrug through the centre. Well, later tonight on Talksport, it's Atletico Madrid against Celtic. Here Rotherham Ipswich takes centre stage as soon as we get underway at around about 7:45 tonight from the Championship. But a big match before that. It's Newcastle United, who are always United, and Alan Pardew. They are capable of making history tonight. How do they do it?
Well, they do it with confidence on the ball, because you're going to need to keep the ball off this team. If this team dictate the game and the tempo, they'll just keep winning it back and coming at you. So you're really going to have to be brave in possession. They've got some good ballers in there, Guimaraes and Joe Linton. They're very good on the ball, Longstaff. There's no reason they can't get a good sort of grip at this game.
Well, they've already won one battle. They have turned Borussia Dortmund around, and you can hear the whistles and the boos in the background, because Borussia Dortmund are being asked to shoot towards the Sud Tribune away to our left, the south stand or the yellow wall, which, when you're allowed standing in there, can host 24,455 guests, to be precise. We're underway live on Talksport 2 with Borussia Dortmund in yellow shirts and black shorts attacking the goal away to our left, and in bright green shirts with white shorts and green socks attacking the goal from left to right is Newcastle United. Here is Joe Willock taking the ball out towards the far touchline, over on that left-hand side, trying to get down the touchline and away into the Dortmund half. And that was a challenge by Mats Hummels, which has also not taken just ball but man as well. And Willock went down, asking for attention as soon as he was contacted. Did he just land awkwardly and get his ankle trapped in between the legs of Hummels? That will be a concern.
Yeah, but one question mark is definitely answered. They're a back four tonight, and it looks like Joe Linton is going to play up on the left-hand side, and Willock just in that middle is one of the three. So that's the shape of Newcastle that's going to have this test tonight.
Here is Trippier out towards this near side, clipping it down the touchline, looking for the run of Longstaff. It's smuggled behind off the Borussia Dortmund body Schlotterbeck, and the referee being asked the question by Longstaff, who chased him into the corner, saying surely that was a corner kick, wasn't it? The referee shook his head. It's a goal kick away to our right hand side, and after 90 seconds it is 0-0. Newcastle short on numbers, but need to be big on impact tonight. Dortmund will look to draw on their experience that Newcastle lack. Trying to coax performances for Eddie Howe out of those understudies is going to be key, and we shall see how it develops over the course of the evening. Here the ball is at the heart of the Dortmund defence, and Schlotterbeck brings it up towards the halfway line. He sends it forward into midfield, and it's spread wide out towards the near touchline, collected on the left by Julian Ryerson. He comes back in field and finds Felix Nemetcha, who scored that goal that separated the two teams last week. It's chipped over the top looking for Brandt, and just narrowing off and coming to the edge of the penalty area was Trippier, and then Livramento, the first real chance for him to test his pace against Ryerson. Ryerson is also very quick, and he swiftly gets into the left full-back position on the cover and stops Livramento from making a dart into opposition territory. 0-0.
Yeah, Livramento is going to Trippier. It's going to be interesting down this side. You know how much they can get forward and be some sort of effect, because obviously both being fullbacks-ish really. But you know, it's a good start by Newcastle. They look okay. Good start to the game.
Champions League debut for Tino Livramento tonight, and for Lewis Hall on the other side of the pitch. Ball goes down the right looking for Wilson. It's smuggled out by Schlotterbeck, and it's away for a Newcastle throw level with the edge of the penalty area. 3 minutes gone on Talksport 2 tonight. Talksport brings you Atletico Madrid against Celtic a little bit later on. Trippier's about to launch a long throw into the box from the wide right area, and he then declines to do that. Gets a 1-2 from Longstaff and kicks it against the defender Ryerson. It's out for a corner.
Ah, good. I think it's a throw-in actually.
It might be right down by the corner flag. Didn't quite get out for the corner that Trippier was waiting for. He's going to try and size up another long throw. Will he throw in the dummy again? He will. Back to Livramento, then sets him up for a cross into the box, which is flicked away by Adeyemi. Comes back out to the right-hand side. Livramento ducks out of it, thinking that Trippier was going on the outside of him to pick up the ball by the corner flag. Didn't quite get there, and it's out for a Borussia Dortmund throw. 4 minutes gone.
It's always a good ploy. You know, we used to do that away from home. Pretend you were going to set a long throw up. Take your time, and then throw it short. Just to kill the clock and take some momentum out of the opposition. So not a bad little tactic.
Trippier wins it back inside opposition territory. Bruno Guimaraes is shut down by Nemetcha, and he has to go back to halfway. Livramento's got it back again on this near touchline. Ryerson's just about kept it in, and then it's kicked forward from the left side of the penalty area up to halfway, and Dortmund have it now, and Nemetcha's got a bit of space to run into. Willock trying to get back after recovering from his earlier ailment. Adeyemi takes it on, goes down towards the byline, gets the cross in, took a deflection off Lewis Hall, and goes out for the first corner of the game.
Yeah, first real test in front of that yellow wall now. So a set play on that right hand side, and Hall had his first test down the side and did quite well actually.
Well, that defeat at St James's Park has really made it tricky for Newcastle as they attempt to reach the last 16 of this competition. They need to get something here or in Paris, and that is going to be a tall order. William Brandt is going to take the corner kick over on the far side. It's goalless. The ball arcs out towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Hummels went up there, drops for Ozcan. It's smuggled away to the near side by Bruno Guimaraes. Adeyemi gets it back again. He motors up to the left edge of the area, tries to take on Trippier, who stands firm. The ball ricochets into the right full-back position, and Newcastle will be able to clear from this near touchline. Accusations that Bruno took it out of play. Referee said no, he didn't. And Borussia Dortmund will tidy up by going all the way back to their goalkeeper. The noise is so loud, it's deafening, ear-splitting at times. And when you're on the pitch, do you even notice that? Do you notice the big change? I mean, Newcastle will be at slightly more an advantage than others here because they're used to having such atmospheres.
Yeah. No, I don't think you would notice it really. It's only when the game sort of stops or there's a set play or something that you can really kind of an impact of the stands and the noise coming down. But behind that goal, like all those stadiums that have that big wall of noise, which Spurs have now, of course, it does try and suck it in. There is that kind of feeling about it.
Pulls back with Gregor Corbel. He sends it long and high into the evening sky. It's flicked on by Fulkrug. Adeyemi takes it on. Brandt is joining right side and balloons a shot from the edge of the area over the top of the crossbar. A little bit rash that from Julian Brandt, who's got 5 goals and 5 assists this season.
Shah and Lascelles getting caught out there. You can't lose headers against, at this level. It was just a direct kick, lost the header, and then that was straight on the attack. They were fortunate there.
0-0, 7 minutes on the clock as Newcastle look to try and find something from this game. If they can steal 3 points from an away trip like this, then we'll go one step closer to getting through to the last 16 of this competition. Ball is deep inside their opposition territory, and Nicholas Schüller, big powerful mountain of a right back. He doesn't usually play right back, he's a centre half really, but he's played right back for Germany recently in a friendly against Mexico. He might have been better at centre back there than Schlotterbeck, who almost gave the ball to Livramento as he was playing out from the back. Here he is though, on the ball now, Schlotterbeck, trying to set it down the right-hand side. Schüller is darting down that right-hand side. Poor old Lewis Hall is dwarfed by the size of him. Goes out, pushes him out of play. It was a little bit like having someone like Josh Warrington up against Vladimir Klitschko. It was a complete mismatch, wasn't it?
In terms of size, yeah. But, look, Eddie's looks like he's set them up not to, they've not gone back into a big, deep shape. They're looking like they want to press when they get the opportunity. They're high up the pitch, the midfield. And that is a sign, I think, Sam, what you said earlier, he probably feels he needs to get something out of this game. So the setup of the team is quite normal, really, for Newcastle.
Well, the Magpies had a late flurry, struck the woodwork twice in the second half of that first leg. Eddie Howe will be hoping that maybe a little bit of fortune goes his way as well this time around. But they, I think, will admit that they weren't at their very best in that match and have got a point to prove tonight. 9 minutes gone on Talksport 2. It's Borussia Dortmund of the Bundesliga 0. Newcastle United 0. Borussia Dortmund, who currently sit 4th in the German top flight. Here's Livramento taking the ball infield, can't quite squeeze it between Ryerson and Schlotterbeck, halfway inside opposition territory. Has flicked the ball back on towards Wilson, who's trying to get beyond Schlotterbeck. Across comes Hummels and tidies up on the edge of the Dortmund box, and he clips it into the centre circle. Joel Linton wins the header, but then Julian Brandt sends the ball outright. Fulkrug is wrestling with Lewis Hall, and Lewis Hall has pushed him to the floor and he's picked up a yellow card.
Well, that seems a bit harsh to me, but we'll see the replay of that, but it didn't look like he did a lot wrong there, Hall. But it was a great bit of play from, Brandt, in that sort of number 10 position, got the wide player in, and Hall had to haul him back. You see a replay now. There's not much in that, really.
It's not a yellow card, is it?
No way. No, I didn't think it at the time, actually. And usually your eye in real time tells you. I didn't think it was a booking, but he's unfortunate there.
No, it's a yellow card for Lewis Hall. And that means he's got quite a long evening going his way. With 80 minutes still to play. Fulkrug getting back to his feet. For very little against Bayern Munich at the weekend. Nicholas Fulkrug, the German international. Last goal for Dortmund was before the international break. He has a much better record for Germany than he does for his club side. He's got 9 and 11 for his country. And he might be the target from this set piece, the first of the game. Newcastle usually pretty good at dealing with set pieces.
They're a big side, Newcastle.
They conceded actually twice in the game against Wolves from set pieces, but hadn't conceded any in the previous 9. Ball into the box, Hall sticks out a foot, it comes off that foot and goes over the top of the crossbar. That was a little bit wild from him. It's out for a corner.
Yeah, he's that booking and then the mistake to follow it. His next action. They always used to say that never have a third bad action. If you've had 2 bad actions, get a very, very easy good action. So your confidence don't start slipping. He's only a young lad.
Get a settler from somewhere.
Yeah.
Corner kick for The home team Dortmund attacking the goal away to our left in yellow shirts. It's put into the near post. It was missed by the first man. There was claims of a handball inside that penalty area. Referee said he's not having any of it, and Newcastle look to try and blame. They can't quite do that. Schuler keeps it moving and turns it back round again. Brandt trying to jink his way through. Interception comes from Longstaff, but Newcastle can't clear their lines at this moment in time. Livramento beaten to it. Little 1-2 on this near side, which opens up the pitch for Dortmund. There might have been an offside flag up on this near side against Ryerson. There was, and it's going to be a free kick to Newcastle, and that can take the pressure off.
Yeah, just decent little spell. It is offside, so they've got the free kick in the last third in. It's interesting, I don't know if you noticed on the referees' shirts, they've got "Be a referee." And after yesterday's game, who'd want to be a referee?
It's a new campaign which they've launched this week, actually.
Okay.
It's something that they've dismissed the calls for handball, by the way, after a quick check. UEFA have put this campaign all around their Champions League and Europa League matches this week to try and get more youngsters into refereeing, because one of the big problems they've got, one of the reasons why I think we believe that there is not as much talent at the top end of the game, is there's a very small pool from which to pick from.
No, I can imagine that. And presumably in different languages, as it's in English tonight, on a German game.
Yeah, that's Champions League language, I'm afraid. English is ubiquitous. I actually spent a bit of time as the ball goes out of play on the far side trying to learn German ahead of the European Championships next year.
Good for you.
But then I was told by people who work there, it's pointless. Everyone speaks faultless English. You're wasting your time. You might as well speak something else.
Well, obviously I worked in Holland, Bulgaria and Greece, and no problems with language at all.
What, is that because you're Bulgarian and Dutch was so good?
So fluent I am. But no, most, English is the sort of language.
Here is Brandt pinging the ball up to Fulkrug, who shoots down the middle of the goal. It's stopped by Nick Pope, punched away to the middle of the pitch. And once again, Borussia Dortmund looked to build. They were taking a throw in from that right-hand side and very quickly got it forward. They've got it out towards the left. Sabitzer with a cross, headed away by Gumarães. Comes back out into the midfield area, and Newcastle are just having to weather a little bit of a storm here. Pope hasn't had to do much, but he's had to make his first save of the game. 13 minutes gone. Dortmund 0, Newcastle 0. Just right in the centre circle, the ball lifted by Hummels, diagonally from right to left, taken down by Brandt. He looks to move in field, and then Trippier reads that brilliantly and sends it square. And Newcastle got to use the ball properly here, but Longstaff didn't do that, and he's gifted it straight back to Schlotterbeck. He strides forward, immediately engaged by Longstaff. They're quite deep here, Newcastle, on the edge of their own penalty area, trying to push Dortmund further away from their goal, and it goes all the way back eventually to Gregor Kobel, and Dortmund have possession. Goalless on Talksport 2, 14 minutes play.
Yeah, the disciplines of Newcastle coming into play there. They had to sit deep for a little while, but then they pressed up quite nicely. It's another header they've lost there. And if this boy keeps getting on the ball, they're going to have a long night, because Brandt is definitely on it tonight. And everything that's come good at Dortmund is coming through him.
Adeyemi over on that right-hand side, trying to link with Brandt and get him behind. Across comes Hall, smuggles it clear, goes out for a throw into Dortmund opposite us. Dortmund haven't had a brilliant start to the season, but they have been grinding out results. Their best performance of the campaign was probably their one at St James's Park, and it was part of an 8-match unbeaten run before that was ended quite brutally on Saturday by Bayern Munich by 4-0. And that was here, and the locals certainly weren't very happy about it. Schlotterbeck, down the left it goes, collected now by the left back Ryerson, who's cross-arced into the box with his right foot. It's an in-swinger, was cleared by Hall, and then Newcastle prick it up and sending forward, looking for Wilson to chase him behind, but Hummels had given himself a head start on Wilson.
How old is Hummels? He must be like 52, is he?
Yeah, he's close to your age, actually.
Still doing it. Still quick enough there for Wilson.
34 years of age, Mats Hummels. Here is Schuler, trying to play an intelligent pass round the back for Sabitzer, who's made a good run. Adeyemi gets a shot away, punched away by Pope, and into a congested penalty area, and then helped further clear out to the left full-back position, so Hall can clear against the on-rushing Sabitzer, but Adeyemi with an effort which Pope had to save down to his right.
Yeah, 2 good saves by Pope already in this game. They're not shots shy at all, and just starting to hear that noise come from that stand now, and that's what happens. It start gaining a bit of momentum. Be careful in Newcastle.
Lemaitre onto Adeyemi, throws himself to the floor after engagement from Hall. Hall's just got to be a little bit careful as well not to get caught up in anything. Newcastle try to release the ball. At the moment, it's all Dortmund who are dominating possession. They've had 72% of it up until this point, 28% for Newcastle United. No attempts at all from the away side. That was definitely the tail of the tape when they went to Milan, the game that Alan and I did about 5 weeks ago. Ball up to Joe Willock. He can't hold on to it. He's spilt it. It goes out of play. It's away for a throw-in inside the Newcastle half, right side, for Borussia Dortmund.
That side of the pitch, Joe Linton and Wilcock, it's not really sort of happening at the moment. I don't know if Joe Linton is really comfortable out there, but at the moment it's all Dortmund.
Is it indeed?
There's a loose one there, luckily.
Played forward by Mats Hummels. Well, a brutal headline over the weekend in Bild read, submissive and no chance. Dortmund steamroller 4-0 at home with Harry Kane grabbing a hat-trick. It was a result that can only give Newcastle more encouragement as they look to steal 3 points from this ground. And they should have a little bit of encouragement on the back of wins against Manchester United and Arsenal, but they are denied the services of so many personnel. 11 players unavailable for them tonight. There's a mixture of reasons for that. When they do get hold of the ball, they've got to make it work for them. And another crossfield ball, this time from Cher to Trippier, comes off the England man's toes and goes straight out of play.
So frustrating when you're the manager you're away from home. They've played out from the back. They've been brave, Newcastle. Now they've got it under good control. Now it's just an easy pass really to Trippier and they make a mess of it. And then of course what's going to happen. They're going to get after you again. So you can't afford those tiny errors. Those details are very, very important at this level.
There's another really good run from Callum Wilson, just on his heels very quickly in behind the defence. It wasn't spotted. They didn't find him, and as a result, Newcastle look to try and build down the right side, but then Trippier gives the ball away cheaply. It's won back by Ozcan, and he sees it back to his goalkeeper. It's important, isn't it, when you see that movement from Wilson, you've got to hit him straight away if you want to get him in.
Yeah, he loves it down the side, running in between centre-backs or down on the outside of them, and that's it. He's brilliant at that. And it's a great release for an away team, but they haven't got him into the game at all yet.
Dortmund 0, Newcastle 0, 19 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Remember, if you want to listen to Talksport and Talksport 2 and flick between the games pretty quickly a little bit later on, like the Championship game between Rotherham and Ipswich and the Champions League game between Atleti and Celtic, you can do so by downloading our app. You can flick between the two stations. You can also get Virgin Radio on there as well, and Talk TV, Virgin Radio with the great Eddie Temple Morris on between 10 and 1 every single day. Bumped into him in the office the other day, and listening to his show taught me that Tina Turner's Simply the Best actually was originally a song that Bonnie Tyler released. I didn't know that.
Bonnie Tyler? Yeah. With a croaky voice. I like Bonnie Tyler.
Total Eclipse of the Heart?
That's the one.
0-0. Newcastle have the ball deep inside their own territory. We've nearly played 20 minutes. Let's play forward into Longstaff. Longstaff gets it back to Lascelles. And I suppose the credit you can play Lascelles is that he started 5 Premier League games in a row now, captained the team in the Champions League, and no one's really noticed that Sven Botman isn't in the team.
Yeah, he's very well. He's done brilliant.
Joel Linton helps it out wide towards the left. Willett keeps it in down the left side, bounds into the Dortmund half, produces a cross deep towards the far post. It's too high for Wilson, and that delivery from Willett just not quite right. The initial setup play was really good from Newcastle, but they couldn't execute the final ball.
No, Joel Linton done very well that particular moment there, and they got down the left hand side and he just overhit the cross, unfortunately, but probably Newcastle's best sort of insertion so far.
Well, they're camped on the edge of the 18-yard box as they did during that game against Milan, trying to win the ball back as Dortmund play out. hasn't worked for them this time, so they just regress slightly back to the halfway line, allow Hummels to come out with it through the middle of the pitch, goes back via Ozcan to Hummels, and then he looks up and he's always looking for that big raking ball forward. He's looked for Adeyemi in behind here. It's too big, that one, and it's into the arms of the goalkeeper away to our left-hand side. Interesting that Anthony Gordon and Almiron have been left on the bench tonight. Do you think that's with an eye of bringing them on in the second half? Here is Wilson trying to get the better of Hummels. He runs up to him down the right side, plays it against him. Hummels comes across, snuffs it out, and it goes out for a corner.
Well, it's just the path we were talking about earlier. They've managed to release him down the side, and Hummels had a struggle there, and he had to give away a corner. So, the first time really Wilson's had a run down there and got some sort of delivery. So that will encourage him, because strikers are not going to do it all night. He'll do it as much as he'll do it as much as he wants if he gets the ball. But he will stop, but he's got one there, so that'll encourage him to do that a bit more. And Trippier with a corner.
Newcastle have to try and maintain their momentum from the weekend. Hall with a back heel into Trippier. Trippier through the 6-yard box. How did no one finish that off? It flashed through the 6-yard box and there wasn't a green shirt ready for it. Brilliant move between Trippier and Hall from the corner. A routine which really came off. And how there wasn't a Newcastle player there to tap in what was a simple chance. I think Kieran Trippier will be scratching his head for a few weeks about that.
Well, I'm not sure that Trippier was at fault there, because it looked to me like Wilson, all he had to do was find him. So we'll have to look at the replay of that. But great corner, and actually Eddie's always been, very clever with his corners, even when he was at Bournemouth. They were always tricky, always be on your guard. It was played in short. And Hall just done a little, as if he was going to pass it to the edge, done a little back flick, and Trippier was in, but his square pass, I thought he missed the chance there to find Wilson.
It was a great opportunity, Trippier down that right hand side. I wasn't blaming him, I was actually couldn't believe that there was 5-6 of them in the box and no one got on the end of it. Might be just a little bit behind Wilson from Trippier. We were just seeing a replay on our monitors which suggests that actually Trippier maybe just played it behind the number 9.
He had a defender in the way, but maybe he could have gone straight through his legs here, and Wilson would have had a tap in. He pulled it behind the defender and actually took Wilson out of the game.
23 gone, halfway through the first half, but it's Dortmund 0, Newcastle 0 in the Champions League on this Tuesday night, live on Talksport 2. Ali McCoyce and Andy Townsend back together next Monday and Tuesday. Tomorrow it's the turn of Alan Brazil with Ali, making sure that you get all of the reaction to the big Champions League action tonight. Here is Adeyemi down the left-hand side, pulls the ball through the 18-yard box, dealt with by Willock. Longstaff gives it down to the right side. Trippier gives it back to Ozcan, and then it's pinched by Bruno Guimaraes, and now Wilson's got to hold on to it here. He does very well, travels with it out to the right-hand side, tries to draw the foul, does just that. Brilliant. And it's very intelligent play, professional play from Callum Wilson.
Yeah, they needed that, because Longstaff give it away on the edge, and Trippier's had a funny start to this game. He's probably the most senior player out there in Champions League experience for Newcastle, and he's made 3 or 4 errors in this game, and that's when it comes down to tiredness sometimes. He's got great quality, he's a great player, but maybe he's feeling the effects of this run they've had and the tough game on Saturday.
Dortmund 0, Newcastle 0. Talksport 2. Lewis Hall sends it wide down the left, looking for the run of Joel Linton. Joel Linton yarding from the left touchline, sends the ball back to halfway. Joel Willock has it once again. It's played square out to the right, where Trippier picks it up, turns it back infield, and gives it to the captain, Jamal Lascelles. They had a slow start to the season from a defensive viewpoint. Newcastle United didn't keep a clean sheet in any of their first 4 games in all competitions. They then went on a run of 5 in a row before they conceded against Paris Saint-Germain. Willock going down the left-hand side, putting pressure on Ozcan. Ozcan plays the ball, but I think an offside flag was up before Willock could put him under any real grief. Newcastle fans everywhere tonight, creeping into the ground, making their presence felt.
And at 25 minutes, Eddie must be delighted, really. They've had a couple of shots from the edge, but they haven't had a concerted period of pressure. And Newcastle have threatened the goal. And when you're the away team, you've got to get the opposition on the back foot on that corner, with just to put a few doubts in Dortmund's mind.
They've just won the ball back though, Dortmund, after initially losing it. It's come to the edge of the penalty area, a little flick onto Füllkrug, who tries to return it to Sabitzer, who turns back into Füllkrug, taps it into the roof of the net with his left foot, and they went a little bit missing at the back there, Newcastle. Good football by the German side. A few mistakes on the edge of the penalty area when Newcastle had the opportunity to clear the ball. They didn't quite do it. And the combination of Füllkrug and Sabitzer have opened up Newcastle's defence.
I was just saying, at 25 minutes, they've just got themselves in a great position. And there's a few errors in this goal. You know, it's played up, and the big guy, he's caused a few problems tonight, by the way, with that first ball. But in the build-up here, there's kind of a bit of a ricochet that goes their way, and then they've got runners. They get another ricochet that goes their way, and actually get it in the box, and then the big guy turns it in. It's a really horrible goal from Newcastle's perspective, where they've done so well up until now.
You could probably identify 3 or 4 places where that ball should have been cleared. Jamal Lascelles didn't do enough. He wasn't strong enough in the challenge. Lewis Hall allows Sabitzer to get across him and then turn the ball back into the danger zone. No one went with Füllkrug, who scored the goal. And before all that even happened, there was a lucky ricochet off Fabian Schär, which just bounced the ball into Dortmund possession.
Yeah.
And as a result, it's Dortmund 1, Newcastle 0.
That's one of those, you know, when I don't know if you're a snooker fan, Sam, but when the run of the balls, that definitely wasn't the run of the balls for Newcastle there.
No, it certainly wasn't, was it? It was, well, he was asking for a bit of fortune after what happened in the game up at St James's Park, and not to get it here as well will be disappointing for Eddie Howe. As the ball goes out of play across field ball, he almost caught that Adeyemi. He thought it was going out. I think he's got to give a free kick here for handball.
Oh dear.
Because he went to catch it. Yeah, it's a free kick.
It's a strange one. You don't see that often, do you? I think Newcastle want him booked, actually, but you can't really book him for that.
Dortmund 1, Newcastle 0. And the difference between the two at St James's Park was a 45th minute goal from Felix Nemetcha, and it ended the Germans' 6-game losing run in England, inflicting Newcastle's first defeat by Bundesliga opposition. They don't want a quick second in succession. Willock, Joe Linton, Hall moving up the pitch and down that left-hand side now into opposition territory. It's aimed towards Wilson, it's a bit behind him, stabbed away by Schlotterbeck, but the ball is back with Newcastle. Left-hand side, Joel Linton, centrally Bruno Guimaraes, who's not going to play at the weekend because of suspension. Trippier onto Livramento. Livramento back in field, and then back wide to Trippier. Space now to get the crossing. Can he do so? He arcs it deep towards the far post. It's overhit, and that was a tale of the tape actually in the first game between the two. Trippier not quite accessing his best delivery. Here's Hall delivering a better ball into the box, headed away this time by Schlotterbeck. Still not cleared by Borussia Dortmund. Eventually they get it to halfway. And that was a good delivery by Hall, and there wasn't anyone there to attack it.
Yeah, it was a great delivery. Put some real purpose on the cross, and probably Newcastle's best little period there. So a good reaction. I just wonder if they've got enough on the pitch here offensively. You know, he's got the big hitters are sitting on the sidelines. You'd expect to see them come onto this game. At the moment, even though they've kind of had decent control of the game, they haven't really impacted them in wide areas.
Here's Willock though, in behind the defence, trying to get the better of Hummels, who does superbly to snuff it out as it drops down over the back of the defender in the left channel. Willock brought it down elegantly, but then Hummels just came across and just snuffed everything out.
Yeah, you can feel there's goals in this game though, and not just for Dortmund. There's, you know, they've had a couple of chances without really creating anything, Newcastle.
So far, they are yet to test Corbell. One corner, no shots on goal of any variety up until this point for Newcastle United, who trailed to Füllkrug's goal after 26 minutes. Here's Lewis Hall, plays it behind Willock. Willock turns the ball back in field. Bruno Guimaraes keeps it moving for Newcastle in green and attacking the goal away to our right. Flicked back towards Lascelles. Lascelles wider onto Trippier. Trippier looks up, sends it in towards Willock, sets it back for Bruno Guimaraes. Livramento on the volley, sends the ball back across the face of goal. It hits the back of Ryerson and goes out and away for a corner kick.
Nice move by Newcastle. Played it around, got it down the side, went down the right-hand side. Livramento and Trippier involved. And then a really decent ball from the midfield. Livramento trying to square it. It just gets blocked, goes out for corner.
Newcastle fans on their feet. In that corner where they are about to take this set piece. A bit of pushing and shoving going on inside the 18-yard box. Referee's keeping an eye on it. Newcastle don't want to surrender this opportunity by giving away a foul. Trippier is going to take this corner. He's waiting for the delivery. What can he come up with here? It needs to be a good one. Right-footed. It's in towards the penalty spot area. The header is on goal by Cher, but it's saved down low to his right by Corbell.
Yeah, that's always irritating for me as a manager. I always wanted a striker around the goalie, because if you win that first contact 9 times out of 10, you can't really get the power. It's going to go right in front of the keeper, which it did there. Nice tap in there for Wilson or someone. They're the kind of little half chances that make the difference at this level.
0-0. Alan Pardew and Sam Matterface bringing you commentary from the Westfalen Stadion, Signal Iduna Park. Dortmund 1, Newcastle 0 is the scoreline. Later on today we'll be taking you to Atletico Madrid's Metropolitano Stadium as they take on Celtic. Live on Talksport later, and Rotherham against Ipswich follows on Talksport 2 with Mark Wilson. Ball swung out towards this near side by Bruno Guimaraes. Trippier, back infield it goes. Collected now by Lascelles. Lascelles square, moving up to halfway with Cher. Further wide onto Hall. Back to Cher once more. And then the ball goes back into the heart of defence, and Newcastle looking to try and build. Shakhtar 0, Barcelona 0 is the latest scoreline from the other early game in the Champions League tonight. Guimaraes, centre circle, swings it wide, out to Trippier, right side for the visitors, across funnels in, Julian Brandt trying to stop him from chipping it down the line. He can't do so, and Longstaff has got it, a little back heel, looking for Livramento. I don't think we really can get away with those sort of movements in the Champions League unless you're going to get it right.
Yeah.
And he's given the ball away and invited the attack, the counter from Dortmund. Brandt is on the ball once again, infield. It's a bit behind Sabitzer.
You can just sense that Dortmund have sort of let Newcastle have a little bit more possession. They sat back a little bit after the goal, and Newcastle have enjoyed definitely a little bit more time with the ball for sure.
Sabitzer thought he was fouled by Bruno Guimaraes. Referee said play on. He's brought it forward to halfway. Trippier looking for some movement in front of him, has to go backwards because he's blocked off by Brandt. He's then having a word with those in front of him as if to say, come on, I need a little bit more than that. And the ball goes wide out to Hall, left side for Newcastle, halfway line, further out to the touchline, and Joel Linton, who stayed very wide out on that left touchline so far.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem to be effective out there for me, Joelinton. I'm not sure that's something I would look at half-time. What were you, about 12-13 minutes from half-time to see how this all unfolds in the next few minutes, because I think this Dortmund side, you could get at them. I don't think this is a team that is that I would be worried about if I was Eddie Howe. They're 1-0 up, okay, but starting to gain a bit of possession, a bit of confidence.
We're pressing high up inside Dortmund territory at this moment in time, and Dortmund have managed to play through that press, and now attacking down the right with Adeyemi, who tests his pace against Cher, who comes across and extinguishes the attack. And then Joel Linton holding the ball on the far side. Once played in Germany with Hoffenheim, and gets pushed in the side, and the free kick is given against Ozcan.
Yeah, Hall's, you know, when you've got that yellow card, his wide player takes him on, he has to pull out of it really, because he knows he's on that knife edge, and luckily Shire was there, who did a great job in clearing up for him.
1-0 to Dortmund. And it's Longstaff on the ball just in front of the centre circle, out wide of Trippier. Trippier runs up to Brandt. Brandt tussling for the ball. Tackle goes in from Trippier. Brandt does brilliantly with his feet, weaves away past the challenge of the England man, and then moves centrally into the centre circle, releases Nemecha. It's a lovely ball, out wide and still on to Schuler. Schuler plays it back into Sabitzer over the top from the edge of the box. It was brilliant football from Borussia Dortmund. They cut Newcastle to shreds there, playing through the lines with quick, fast, incisive footballer. Even right fullback, massive Nicholas Schuler was involved. He set up the final chance for Sabitzer, and it went over the top.
That was the real bit of class Champions League play from Dortmund there. They went right through Newcastle and created a great situation on the edge of the box, but unfortunately for Dortmund, he's got his shot all wrong. But the build-up play was brilliant. Brandt again, he's been outstanding in this first 30 minutes, a real highlight of the team.
Scored recently against Frankfurt, a late goal to rescue a point in a 3-3 draw. It's a dramatic moment. Here's Joe Linton trying to get in behind. He's played in, but he can't control it. As it comes over the top of the Dortmund defence, and he just couldn't bring it under his command. And that was a great opportunity, because had he have done that, Alan, he was in with the goalkeeper.
Oh, what a chance. It was a great run. The first time, really, he's come off the side. He come flying in off the side to sort of make an internal run. And he was picked out by Lascelles, I think. And he was in. All he had to do was bring it under control. It was so unfortunate.
Alan Pardew is alongside me, Sam Matterface on Talksport 2. We're welcoming listeners from Talksport to the Westfalenstadion in Dortmund, where Newcastle United are 1-0 down. The goal scored by Niklas Füllkrug after 26 minutes, and Dortmund, who haven't put together much but a couple of very good, well choreographed moves, which have opened up the Newcastle back line. Newcastle trying to find a way back into this game now, having conceded the first goal after 26 minutes, Alan.
Yes, I look at this and I'd be really disappointed if I was Eddie. I don't think they put a performance in that warrants to be losing the game. But when you're away from home, they've had a couple of moments. That's all really.
Abiyemi down the right-hand side, gets to the byline, produces a cross for Dortmund into the box. It runs through the other side. Ryerson keeps it alive. It's a deeper ball into the penalty area. Pope comes out. He's had to make one or two saves, grabs it and clears it away, and it remains Dortmund 1, Newcastle United 0. Dortmund coming forward, up over the halfway line. Ozcan is fouled by Bruno Guimaraes, and the referee, Alejandro Hernandez, just having a quick word with Bruno Guimaraes, just making sure that he tones down his tackles.
Yeah, if I wouldn't be happy with Pope there. You're 38 minutes on the clock. He's tried to release the striker with a throw and giving it away. His possession is so important at this level.
Jason Tindall and Eddie Howe involved in deep conversation down on the touchline as they try to plot a way for Newcastle to get back into this game. Forward by Kobel through the middle of the pitch. A long raking ball by the goalkeeper up towards Füllkrug. And that was a handball, was it, by Livramento? The referee says no, play on. Gave him the advantage. Then Bruno Guimaraes is caught in a tangle, and Newcastle are given a free kick, and the fans don't like that.
No, it was good pressure from Dortmund. They were all over Newcastle there, but unfortunately he's made a foul, and Newcastle had the ball. But it was a handball, so slightly fortunate for Newcastle in a number of ways there.
Well, historically, European football has brought the best out of Newcastle United. Home and away, the English side have lost only 3 of their last 17 European games.
Great stat, that.
I wonder who maintained the majority of those games. Here's Joe Linton over on the left-hand side, gets to the byline, then cuts back in, produces a cross. It's not the greatest, it's over Wilson's head. Another opportunity, though, to get the ball into the box, that they declined.
Yeah, I just feel Joe Linton, he's had a couple of moments in this game from that side. He doesn't look comfortable, really, but you still got that quality. He was a little bit unlucky there, just overhit that.
5 to go before the break. Nemecha wrestling with Bruno Guimaraes. Another set piece for Newcastle. This one 6 yards in from the right touchline, about 12 or 13 yards inside Dortmund territory. Eddie Howe wants Kieran Trippier to make the most of this.
Yeah, this you send your centre backs up for this one, even at 40 minutes.
Cher coming up from the back. There's no big Dan Burn at this moment in time, because his injury is going to keep him out for a little while after falling awkwardly and hurting his spine at the weekend. So it's Lascelles and Scher who will be trying to attack this, or they've played it short instead to Guimaraes. Down the right goes Willock, looking to get on the end of it. Again, it was well crafted and well thought out, but not necessarily executed perfectly, Alan, as the ball goes out of play.
Yeah, when you work on free kicks and the corner that come off, it looks brilliant. But when it doesn't come off like that situation, you've got a great chance to put it in the box. Played it short to sort of flick it on behind as a second phase, and it went all pear-shaped, and it looked ugly and horrible. And what was all that about? That's the downside of trying a tricky one.
Well, they are trying to be positive. It hasn't worked perfectly for them so far, Newcastle United. A couple of overhit crosses into the box, which could have been a little bit more precise. They're usually very good from their crosses. Not as many goals come from any other team from that route as they do for Newcastle.
They're a big side on Dortmund, aren't they? They've got some big lumps. The striker has been a problem all night. In that midfield, they're a big team.
Well, Newcastle can't bully them, that's for sure.
No.
Hummels is huge. Nicholas Schüller is the kind of bloke that you'd like to avoid at all costs, standing at the bar or going out for a walk. He would always perennially be in his shadow. He's absolutely massive. Here is Trippier. Again, he's given the ball away cheaply, and it's won back on this near side by Adeyemi. They didn't have the fortitude to go at the Newcastle defence. They might do now. Adeyemi gets it into Brandt. The ball back to him wasn't good enough. Now Livramento looking to steal a march, goes down this right-hand side. Well, he's pulled a couple of challenges there.
Yeah, he's done well there, hasn't he?
He's won the free kick. He took the ball in, went dribbling with it, carried it a long way despite attention from Sabitzer, from Ryerson, then eventually from the Metcher. The referee ultimately then gave the free kick.
Yeah, because he's playing up on the right-hand side, when he's had his back to goal and making runs, it's not really his game, but that was more his game when he's got the game in front of him. He's running with a ball, he's held 2 or 3 off, he's done exceptionally well there. Relieved a bit of pressure at an important time. At 43 minutes, cannot concede again at this level, at this time.
Dortmund 1, Newcastle 0. Tomorrow night we'll bring you Manchester United's latest excursion in the Champions League. They take on Dortmund. And Miguel Almiron has been sent up to warm up on the touchline ahead of the second half, I think, by Eddie Howe. Yeah,
definitely for me. And after conceding the goal, there's no point being tight anymore. They're going to have to get a bit more flair on the pitch, particularly in wide areas. So Almiron will be a natural player to come on for me.
We'll see if that is a change that Eddie Howe is tempted to make at the break. We've got 90 seconds plus stoppage time to play. Ball pushed down the right side for Dortmund, cut out by Scher, about 15 yards outside his own box. It goes wide to Joel Linton, who has his legs taken from underneath him, and it's a free kick on the touchline.
Yep. Where are we? 44 minutes. I don't think there's going to be a lot of extra time here. So if I was Eddie, get them in for 1-0 and let's rejig this team a little bit.
I think just the 1 minute of added time is going to be allotted at the end of this 45. Here on the right side is Livramento, and he's forced in the last regular minute of the game a late corner in front of those Newcastle fans away to our right-hand side. And this time, Trippier's got to get the delivery right.
Yeah, this will definitely, I think, be going right in that 6-yard box. They won first contact last time, remember, and it went straight through to the keeper. So a little bit more alive onto the second ball if they can win first contact here.
30 seconds to go before the break. Trippier would love to cultivate a goal now. Sends it long. He's headed back down towards Joel Linton, who heads it, prods it towards goal, but he couldn't get the power. And springing up to his right was Corbel to snatch it from the sky. And on the cells at the back post, peeled off and headed the ball down. And he couldn't quite steer it into the path of Joel Linton.
Yeah, Joel Linton, he's got everything he can behind that, but there's no pace on the ball, so he can't generate enough to get past the keeper. Well worked corner though. Lascelles round the back. good chance. They've had 2 chances from set plays.
Good feat by Longstaff to weave his way past Sabitzer, who drags him down and gives away a free kick. He wants more than just the free kick. He wants a yellow card as well. I don't think he's going to get one of those.
Definitely looked like a yellow. Late. But another set play. And, you know, from what we've seen in the first half, you'd have to say that if Newcastle are going to score, it might be from a set play. As big as Dortmund are, they've worked out a couple of situations.
Dortmund did score on the stroke of half-time at St James's Park. Can Newcastle do the same and burst their bubble here at the Westfalen Stadium? We're into the final few seconds of the first half. It's swung in by Trippier, headed away out to the far side. Brandt looking to go on the scamper, gets over the halfway line, and Newcastle got to be a little bit careful here because the ball's been inadvertently ricocheted into the path of Sabitzer. Sabitzer turns it into the box. It's headed away by the retreating Cher. Back on this near side, the right. Livramento will see it out, and that is the final act of the first half. Well, Borussia Dortmund have only lost 2 of their last 17 home games, so the task facing Newcastle was a daunting one before the match starts. And thanks to the goal from Nico Füllkrug after 26 minutes, it's even more so now. Dortmund 1, Newcastle 0. Here's Alan Pardew.
Yeah, I mean, in perspective, you know, the game is unfortunate for Newcastle. The goal is unfortunate. It's ricochet, not gone their way, and they've conceded a goal. But the game's been fairly even. I don't know what the percentage of possession. Probably Dortmund have edged it from that first 20 minutes.
55-45.
Yeah. So, you know, from away in a Champions League game, that isn't too bad, but definitely they look like they need some more offensive stuff on the pitch, more flair, more pace in those wide areas. And I expect Eddie to make a change here, if not at half-time, not long after. But they're going to have to get hold of Brandt in that number 10 role, where he's just drifting around. All the good moments have come through him. And this Dortmund side now, putting to bed that Bayern Munich result, will be a little bit more confident going into the second half.
Coming up on Talksport and Talksport 2 over the next few days. Later on Talksport 2, we've got Rotherham Ipswich with Mark Wilson and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. Tomorrow night, live commentary of Copenhagen against Manchester United. That's live on Talksport. Thursday night, Toulouse against Liverpool is a 5:45 kickoff for Alex Crook and Dean Ashton on 2. And Friday night, it's Blackburn against Preston, a local derby. Joe Shannon will be there for that one. Talksport 2, if you want to download our app, you'll be able to listen to that. And then on Saturday, it's off to Wolves against Tottenham for 12:30. And Game Day Live takes you round the grounds before we bring you Arsenal-Burnley at 3 o'clock on Talksport 2. Round the grounds this Sunday afternoon is on the Sunday session, 1:30. Make sure you join us for that. We'd love to have your company. 1:30 Talksport round the grounds before the final word at 6:30 with Alan Pardew and
Me
Madge.
and Madge, yeah,
Taking
we're
calls.
enjoying it on a Sunday.
Good. There'll be a lot to fall out from on Sunday afternoon with Chelsea, Manchester City playing and all those games at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, another big weekend.
Always a big weekend in the biggest league in the world. What has Eddie Howe got to do in the second half? How would you expect him to approach the second half? Are you expecting to see Almiron and Gordon at some point?
Definitely. But I would definitely also have one of your midfield players looking after Brent a little bit more. Maybe Longstaff to get around him and not let him kind of have the little bit of freedom that he's had, because he has created their best moments. But there's hope for Newcastle. This isn't a done deal yet. They've shown from set plays they have a threat, and they've got the threat definitely on the bench to add a little bit more offensive kind of push. And I think that's what we're going to have to do second half to get something out of this.
If, and it's a big if, AC Milan were to end up beating Paris Saint-Germain later tonight, they would go above Newcastle, and Newcastle will drop to bottom of the table. We do distinctly hope that that doesn't happen, because Newcastle continuing in this competition would be good for the Premier League clubs and good for the potential of having a 5th place next year. At the moment, though, they've got to come from behind, because at the break, it's Dortmund 1, Newcastle United 0.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the English Football League.
These days, it's nice to know what you're getting. Like the same when you tuck into our tasty breakfast. The same yes when your kids stay and eat breakfast for free. The same woo knowing there are over 800 hotels. And the same every time you sink into one of our super comfy beds. Enjoy the same feeling whatever the trip. Premier Inn. Rest easy. Only available to book at premierinn.com. T's and C's apply. Up to 2 kids stay and eat breakfast free with a full paying adult.
Stoneacre are driving down the cost of owning a fully electric vehicle with this exclusive offer. Save up to £17,000 on a Maxus van or pickup with the OLEV grant and our exclusive Stoneacre scrappage allowance, worth up to £12,000 for your current car or van. Available for immediate free nationwide delivery. They come with a free EV wall charger and a 5-year warranty. Visit stoneacre.co.uk/MaxusVans. Motoring for life.
Oi Dave, you know BFT Automation sell everything you need for automating gates and doors. They even sell traffic barriers. Bollards. Them too, Dave. Them too.
It's true. As a global manufacturer of high quality and reliable gate motors, traffic barriers, and even automatic bollards, BFT Automation will have a solution for you. For great service and a huge range of access solutions for domestic, commercial, and urban sites, visit bftautomationuk.com.
If your business is accused of damaging a client's property, for example, accidentally pouring tea all over their expensive audio equipment. Really sorry about that, by the way. Then Hiscox could help protect you. The story of your business, underwritten by Hiscox Business Insurance, subject to already holding a relevant Hiscox policy and subject to policy eligibility, terms and conditions.
Washing, dishes, vacuuming, household chores never end. Even for me, Albert Einstein. But you know what? I leave it all till later, because I've got a smart meter. And right now I'm part of a scheme where I get rewarded for changing when I use my energy. More than 1 million others took part last winter using less energy at peak times. Good, eh?
Get ready to start earning rewards. Search Get a Smart Meter today. Eligibility and availability vary. Consumer action required. Reward schemes available to selected customers.
Chicken selects.
McNuggets.
Chicken selects.
McNuggets.
Chicken selects.
McNuggets.
Chicken selects.
McNuggets.
Chicken selects.
Hang on. Whether you're a McNuggets connoisseur or a Chicken Selects mega fan, come together with the McDonald's Chicken Combo for just $14.99. With 20 Chicken McNuggets, 10 Chicken Selects and 8 dips, there's something for every chicken lover. Order now in store and on McDelivery. Until 3rd of Jan 2024, from 11 a.m. Participating restaurants. Price may vary. Delivery price uplift and fees apply. Subject to availability.
Talksport 2. Traffic and travel.
In Warwickshire, the M6 northbound is partly blocked after a collision between Crawley Services and Junction 4 for the M42. In Oxfordshire, delays on the M40 northbound. That's partly blocked by a broken down lorry just by Junction 10, the turn-off for Brackley. And in Hertfordshire, long queues on the anti-clockwise M25, which is partly blocked at Junction 23 for the A1M. There's a broken down lorry there on the exit slip, so do expect some long delays. I'm Adam Moore.
The Social with Adiola Depot and Rory Jennings. Tomorrow afternoon from 3 on Talksport 2. Outspoken opinions and decisive debate following all the action.
We talk about football in a bipartisan and educated way. Well, I do at least.
I try. News, views, fun and football fixtures.
It's not just football though. Bit of boxing, bit of horse racing, even a bit of rugby.
And it's a try! And some phenomenal guests.
If you can't get in this squad after showing the form he showed, I don't think it looks too good for him.
This is the place to be.
It's Addy and Rory. It's The Social on Talksport 2.
What a goal!
The Social.
Tomorrow afternoon from 3.
It just works, doesn't it? On Talksport 2.
The passion, the pain, and the poetry of the beautiful game.
Overhead kick! Brilliant goal!
The Champions League live on Talksport 2.
Newcastle have gone from a team languishing in the Premier League relegation zone to this. A date with Dortmund and a congregation of their ear-splitting fans, both fighting to stay in the Champions League. Sabitser's made a good run. Andy Yemi gets a shot away, punched away by Pope. Up to the edge of the penalty area, a little flick onto Fulkrug, who tries to return it to Sabitzer, who turns back into Fulkrug, taps it into the roof of the net with his left foot. And they went a little bit missing at the back there, Newcastle. And the combination of Fulkrug and Sabitzer have opened up Newcastle's defence. Trippier is going to take this corner. He's waiting for the delivery. What can he come up with here? It needs to be a good one. Right-footed. It's in towards the penalty spot area. A header is on goal by Cher, but it's saved down low to his right by Corbell. Trippier would love to cultivate a goal now. Sends it long. He's headed back down towards Joel Linton, who heads it, prods it towards goal, but he couldn't get the power, and springing up to his right was Corbell. Good evening to you. This is Sam Matterface and Alan Pardew bringing you live commentary from the Westfalen Stadium in Dortmund, where Borussia Dortmund lead by 1-0 against Newcastle United. That goal coming after 26 minutes, and Dortmund at this moment in time in charge of this fixture, and will be in charge of and most likely to be the team that go through to the last 16. Let's talk about some of the other games that are taking place tonight. It is an early kick-off in the Champions League tonight for Newcastle and for Dortmund. Shakhtar Donetsk lead against Barcelona in the other early game in this tournament. Later on Talksport, we'll be bringing you Atletico Madrid against Celtic. Manchester City are in action as well tonight, and they're looking to maintain their 100% start to the Champions League when they face Young Boys later on. Pep Guardiola's side, top of Group G, and won the reverse fixture 3-1 a week ago. Erling Haaland is a doubt for the match, though, after he went off at half-time in the weekend's victory over Bournemouth. European football expert Lars Siversen joined H&J earlier. He's written a book on Haaland and explained that for all the success since joining City from Dortmund, the way he's adapted to the physicality of the English game has been crucial.
And that has been, I would say, the real triumph of his move to City so far. Obviously, winning the treble was good. Setting all these records, tremendous. But, and this isn't just me speculating, they've said this on the record, they were a little bit concerned about the physicality of the Premier League before going here, because in his last season at Dortmund, he was starting to pick up some muscle injuries that will have concerned them a little bit. So when they were trying to make the decision where to next, to Real Madrid, to Manchester City, whatever, we know this from the documentary they did with Viaplay, that they were aware that there is an extra physical load that you'll be submitted to when you play in England. The referees allow a little bit more. There's some extra games because of the League Cup, all this sort of stuff. But of course, he's hardly been injured at all. He's had a couple of little knocks. The physio team at City have done an incredible job. And Pep have spoken about this. He spends basically more time with the physios than he does on the training ground, almost, because they're really, really careful about keeping him in shape. Because his musculature is pretty unique. Like, he has this incredible combination of strength and explosivity that you have to be very careful with.
When was he first on your radar, Lars? When did you first kind of hear about him?
So I have a funny answer to this, which is, obviously, I grew up in Bruyne, the same small town as him, and my father in particular is a massive Bruyne fan, season ticket holder forever, this sort of thing. And he would always say, because of course Alfie Haaland's also from there. Yeah. So he would always say to me when I was younger, because the club fell on hard times, just wait until Alfie's kids grow up, then our good times will come again. So I guess I've had a vague idea that Alfie's kids might be good for a long time. I think in terms of, again, when he makes his debut, you do notice that Alfie's son is in the first team. Obviously, that's interesting. But I think the moment most people in Norway realised that there's something here was in the summer of 2018, when he scored 4 goals away to Brann for Molde then, because he was still 17 at the time, and a lot of people within football rated him highly, but a lot of people in the public hadn't quite seen it yet. And he just had a massive growth spurt, which in that, maybe his touch is not perfect. He could look a bit clumsy. Then there was an away game to Brann, very difficult place to go, tough defensive team that season, and he just went wild and scored 4 goals, and everyone was like, okay, there's something here.
Yeah. I first noticed him, I'm not a kind of European football wonk, obviously. You guys are the experts, but watching the goal show on BT Sport one night when he first got to Salzburg, it was a Champions League game, and I can't remember who it was against, but he scored a couple of goals, made a couple of goals. And I thought, wow, who's this kid? He's amazing. I mean, I think I'd heard of him, but to see him in the flesh, I think he scored tap-ins, he scored a great header, he scored one where he ran from deep, took players on and drilled it. I mean, all sorts of different goals, and you could see there was a real talent there.
Yeah, and that autumn at Salzburg is obviously when it all kicked off completely. Jesse Marsch came in and seemed to have a real connection with him. I think him and Jesse Marsch was a good mix, actually. His sort of very, it's crude, but very American leadership style. Come on, guys. That seemed to really work for Erling Haaland, and he put him straight in the team and put a lot of trust in him. And Erling just went wild, and it was clear that he outgrew Austria very, very quickly.
Yes, that's Lars Siversen talking on H&J about Erling Haaland. He outgrows quite a lot, doesn't he, Erling Haaland? He certainly played well in the Premier League last year, and he hasn't had the best start for the season, but he's still the Premier League's top goal scorer, which just shows his quality, I think, Alan.
Yeah, he's just that striker. You can almost tell that he can hover in games. He not looking involved, then bang, and he's got 2 goals. You know, he's a formidable talent. I really thought that second goal was it. The header against Man United was terrific, and that just summed him up. Didn't try to be clever with it, just put it in the back of the net.
Well, that game tonight will be reported upon as we take you round the grounds during the commentary of Atletico Madrid against Celtic. It's live on Talksport tonight. That Atletico Madrid against Celtic game. It kicks off at 8 o'clock. Also kicking off here at the same time, we've got Rotherham Ipswich for you. That's live on Talksport 2. And Mark Wilson will be part of your commentary team. So let's head back inside the Westfalen Stadion as the two teams emerge onto the pitch down in front of us for the second half of what is a huge Champions League match and a huge 45 minutes, Alan, for both Newcastle United and for Borussia Dortmund, because if it stays this way, the likelihood is that Newcastle will be struggling to stay in the Champions League by the time they go to Paris in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, and you know, it starts to impact on you as a manager, because you've left a couple of players out here. He's left Gordon Almiron on the bench. Now he's 1-0 down, and now the game's resting on this 45 minutes. You really need something now. Otherwise, questions will be asked, because at the end of the day, at Newcastle, every game's analysed, as you can imagine, by about 14 websites, 5 radio shows, 3 TVs. You know, it's full on. So, and we are making a change, and I thought we might. We're actually making 2.
Yes, indeed. And it's Callum Wilson who comes off. I wonder whether or not they are just sort of planning to share the load here. Almiron and Gordon coming on. And the other change is Lewis Hall, who's been replaced. So Trippier will go to left back. Livramento will go to right back. Almiron will go to right midfield. Joe Linton will stay where he is, I think, and maybe Gordon will go down the centre. Or Joel Linton will go down the middle and Gordon will go down the left, we'll see. But Lewis Hall made his Champions League debut and was booked, has been preserved, and I think Wilson has just been preserved as well.
Yeah, interesting, because now, you know, this is it now. Joe Linton is going to stay out on this high on this left-hand side, so Gordon looks like he'll go through the middle. So this is a real test now with the players that he's got available. He's probably got his best team on the pitch now.
Dortmund 1, Newcastle United 0. The good news for Newcastle is that they lost their last Champions League game to Dortmund. They're unbeaten in their last 7 Premier League matches. They scored 20 goals and conceded just 4 during that period. They're also through in the Carabao Cup. Those statistics should underscore how impressive Eddie Howe's team have been at both ends of the pitch, but their attacking statistics are particularly impressive. Going into the weekend, they were top ranks in the Premier League for shots on goal, conversion percentage, but they're defending here. Adeyemi moving up to the edge of the area, runs into a bit of a cul-de-sac and then shoots. And he takes a couple of deflections on the way through to Pope, who gloves it. But actually, he ran so far to the left, if he'd just cut back to the right, there was more space for him to run into. But he was allowed to travel a very long way.
He got a great release. He's running across the pitch, and he had a great opportunity. He had one down his left-hand side, which he ignored. Hovered. He had then 2 on his right, which he messed around with. It was an opportunity for Dortmund to get a second goal there.
Well, we've just got a bit of a delay in proceedings while some detritus is cleared from the pitch. Lots of gold cartons and tennis balls being thrown onto the pitch. And that might well be some sort of protest against ticket prices. In Germany, they're pretty hot on the idea of all the prices being egalitarian, but and when it doesn't go their way, they make a big fuss about it. And certainly, it looks to me like fake gold bars have been thrown onto the pitch.
That's exactly what it looks like. I actually thought there was that big sausage box, you know, with they sell out there. But the Dortmund very much always their fans have always been at the forefront of those kind of protests, and it looks like they're making their mark here.
Yeah, it's not about money; it's about football. It's always been the German way of thinking when it comes to the game. Most of their ownership structures are very sort of supporter-based, committee-based. There's no real sort of overlords. Here's Tino Livramento in behind, sends a cross towards the near post. It's gloved away by Corbell. He pushes it out towards the edge of the penalty area. Willem can't react to it. He's got it back again. Now here's Trippier. Infield it goes, looking for Longstaff. Back to Joel Linton, who with his back to goal feeds the ball into Bruno Guimaraes, and then they move down the right-hand side, just a couple of inches from the right touchline, and it remains Dortmund 1, Newcastle United 0. That was a good chance for Livramento.
Probably their best chance. He got in behind the back four with a ball that was lifted over. He squared it, and the keeper just got a hand to it. Otherwise, it was a tap-in.
Joel Linton down the left, producing a cross in towards the near post. Misses everyone. Comes back out on the edge of the box. Sent forward by Almiron. And it's wide of the right-hand upright. And they look a little bit more purposeful at the start of the second half, Newcastle United, as they look to fight back from a goal down.
Definitely looked more balanced, looked like they got more of a threat. Those were the two of the better attacks they've had of the whole game. This is the chance.
Goes down the right-hand side, gets to the byline, pulls the ball back through the 6-yard box, and it evades everyone. Goalkeeper did just enough to steer it away. Dortmund 1, Newcastle United 0. And Newcastle's last European campaign came 11 years ago. And they got to the Europa League quarter-finals. They lost to the eventual runners-up, Benfica.
Yeah, we should have won.
I think someone not too far away from me was in charge then.
Yeah, we was really unlucky that night.
Here is Schlotterbeck sending it down the left-hand side. Fulkrug plays it in towards Brandt. Brandt gets hold of it, steps on the ball, then gets it back again, and then shoots towards the far corner from the edge of the area. Right-footed, left side, cuts in, and then sent it across the goalkeeper and fingers it round the post.
Yeah, Brent actually lost possession there, and but it kind of fell his way. He tried a trick, it didn't come off, but then it sort of fell for him. Cut inside, edge of the box, tried to curl it in that far corner. Good save by Pope.
Yeah, he got away with one there, didn't he? Yeah. As he stepped on the ball and it sort of spilled back into a zone which he could attack. He's got a corner here from the right side. And he'll send the ball in towards the near post, and floating towards it was Nemetcha, who didn't quite connect with it. Comes to Adeyemi, whose half shot comes back to Ozcan. It's spilled through the penalty area and almost came through at the far post of Fulkrug, but he didn't expect it, and it dribbles behind and goes out for a goal kick right from the edge of the D. Ozcan just sort of helping the ball back into the danger zone. I think the offside flag was up against Fulkrug anyway.
I think the bigger worry was that they had a man spare at the set play there, and he should have scored, really. I don't know why he missed that header. It was a great
near
ball.
post, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Joel Linton helping it down the left. A little bit more of an open game in this second half. Willock trying to get the better of Adeyemi. Allows the ball to go out of play. He then tries to conduct the crowd. And Willock ends up behind the goal. And in a sea of those cartons that have been turned into fake gold bars, crashing into the advertising hoardings.
A few tubes of party poppers as well. I don't know if that's prevalent.
I noticed that you spotted those. Had a few of those before, have you?
No.
New Year's Eve. They're just New Year's Eve, aren't they, party poppers? Here on the right-hand side, Schuler careering down the right touchline, helps it on into the path of the goal scorer, Fulkrug, who's dispossessed by Kieran Trippier. It goes out of play, and it's away for a Newcastle throw with 52 on the clock.
Big fella, only that Fulkrug, blimey.
Yeah, he's big, but so is Schuler down the right side. You wouldn't want to get caught in that sandwich, would you?
No. A few sausages in there too.
Dortmund 1, Newcastle 0. The ball is over the halfway line. Hummels plays it right, blocked by Joel Linton. It's smuggled out on this near side. And Eddie Howe's rolled his dice. And now he wants...
yeah, the balls are gone. That's always a trait. When you go away from home, suddenly all the multi-ball goes out the window.
And certainly looking for a road ball there. Almiron wins it back on halfway by sticking a foot out to a poor crossfield ball. Now Livramento is urged to get forward. He does that on the far side, down the right side. He's tackled by the left full-back Ryerson, and Almiron actually has won a free kick now in from the touchline on that right, and it wasn't a great tackle that by Ryerson. He sort of jumped towards it.
Yeah.
missed the ball.
who's gone to right back, actually looks so much better already because the game's in front of him. He's had two good little forays down that right side already, and he's got Almiron with him down there. So that's probably Newcastle's biggest threat in this second half, that right side.
Dortmund have only lost 2 of the last 17 home games. Ball sent in towards the near post. It runs through past 2 yellow shirts before it comes on the edge of the penalty area. Back to Joel Linton, a back heel to Almiron, who's crossing to the near post, flicks into the air, takes a deflection, and it's cleared away. Newcastle win it back again and keep the pressure on. Bruno Guimaraes midway inside Borussia Dortmund territory. Funneling down the left is Joel Linton. Back into Guimaraes again. Can he open up that stubborn defence now, who've set back into a really rigid shape? And it's not just a yellow wall that they're attacking, it's a yellow wall in front of the penalty area. Lascelles sends it wide. Almiron, Livramento, back to halfway and just right to the centre circle. It's with Lascelles again. They're banked up here, Borussia Dortmund, as Newcastle come down the side with Joe Willock to Joel Linton, and then back to the middle and Trippier. He finds Lascelles on the edge of the centre circle. They work it wide right. Livramento trying to open up the pitch, plays it down to Longstaff, nudges it on. It's picked up by Almiron, who's coming back from an offside position. It's going to be a free kick. Let's get team news from the game involving Celtic away at Madrid tonight. Atletico Madrid, and Talksport 2's Ian Dowd has the team news.
And Celtic desperate for a win to keep pace with this group. They make 4 changes from the weekend win at Ross County. In come Johnston, O'Reilly, Kyogo and Palmer. Out go Yang and O, Turnbull and Ralston from that winning side. Griezmann drops into midfield for Atletico Madrid, who lost their last game in La Liga. It's 8 o'clock, live on TalkSport, Atletico Madrid against Celtic.
And that game kicks off at 8 o'clock, as Ian was saying. If you download the TalkSport app, you can listen to both stations, split between the two. We've got Rotherham against Ipswich here. That kicks off at 8 o'clock with Mark Wilson and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. Worth remembering that Newcastle are without Elliot Anderson, Harvey Barnes, Sven Botman, Alexander Isak, Manquillo, Miley, Murphy, Target and Tonali. Miley's back on the bench tonight, but he's been suffering with glandular fever. And you've got the other added problem of having Emil Kraft and Matt Ritchie not available because they're not in the Champions League squad. Here's Livramento on the right-hand side. Cross into the box. Joel Linton with a header. He's missed it 7 yards out. It's a golden chance to equalise. Coming in off that left touchline, he connected with a brilliant cross from the right-hand side. Livramento getting into a wide right area. His cross is pinpoint. The header was imprecise. It's wide of the goal, and it's a major miss from Joel Linton.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to score, really. I don't know if he's taken his eye off that at the last minute. The defender's coming from the other side of him, so it's no excuse, really. Best bit of play from Newcastle. Gordon come from the central position, went and doubled up on the wide area. It was a great cross that come in the end. And Joe Linton, wow, he'd be kicking himself, wouldn't he?
What a miss that is for Joel Linton, who is still waiting for his first goal of the season. He hasn't scored in his last 4 club appearances. Almiron down the right again. They're getting more joy out there. He cuts infield on his left foot, and then Livramento just sort of came across his path, and that slowed him up a little bit. And as he tried to hit it goalwards, he got right underneath it, and it goes over the top. And there's a bit of a headache here for Edin Terzic, who was the assistant to Slaven Bilic at West Ham United in the Premier League. He's having a word on his bench with 1 or 2 of his backroom staff. Marco Reus is warming up down in front of us because I think they feel as if the game's just swung. Momentum has gone in Newcastle's direction.
And definitely down that right side, he's going to need to do something because Gordon's going out there with Almiron as well, and they're causing a few problems down that side. With Oliver Romero bursting from the fullback position.
1-0, 57 minutes on the clock. Here comes Schüller, travelling down the right side of the Dortmund attack into Newcastle territory. It's blocked by Joel Linton, spills into midfield. Ozcan keeps things moving. Salih Ozcan, who came off the bench early for Emre Can in the first game and hardly played up until that point. He plays it wide to Schüller. Skipping past Trippier was Adeyemi. He gets down towards the byline and then was a little bit caught in 2 minds. He could have funneled that back to the Nemecha, decided not to, and as a result ended up giving the ball away. And Trippier's then given it back straight to a yellow jersey. Brandt on the ball in front of the Newcastle backline. 1-2 with Ozcan. Then gets a shot in towards the far corner, and it's touched behind again by Pope, diving to his right, pushing it round the post. I think it was already arcing away from the upright and wasn't going to be on target from Julian Brandt. But he's at the heart of everything that's good about Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, they still haven't really got to grips with him. You know, again, the two moments in this second half have come from him. And actually, Pope needed probably to get something on that. Anyway, it's petered out whatever they were doing at the corner, and Newcastle back in possession.
I think he's given a goal kick.
Oh, really? Okay.
Which is surprising. And Julian Brandt can't believe it either.
Yeah, it's one of those that only the referee sees, that one.
Or doesn't see. Ball played through the 18-yard box. Enin Terzic is going crazy about the fact that the corner kick wasn't given. Here's Nemecha from distance, shooting as Newcastle contrived to give the ball away. They started to play around with it inside their 18-yard box, Alan, in rather odd circumstances there, playing the ball right across the face of the goal when they're under pressure.
Trippier's done that a couple of times. He's obviously a right footer playing left back, so you know that ball across the penalty box is a temptation. One I hope he doesn't take again, if I'm honest.
Halfway line, and it's Trippier back out wide to Joel Linton, who's midway now inside the Borussia Dortmund half, moving forward at pace. Newcastle looking for an equaliser. We've nearly played the hour mark. They conceded after 26 minutes. They've had a cracking chance from Joel Linton, but haven't managed to convert it. They need to fashion another one. Gordon in towards the edge of the D. It's away before Longstaff can reach it. It bounces out on this left-hand side. Joel Linton is wrestling with Ozcan and is penalised for being too physical.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, I don't know why Wilson's off the pitch here, because in actual fact their own hopes in the Champions League now are resting on Gordon being the striker. Now, I don't think Gordon's ever played there. I heard his interview at the weekend. He played there obviously for a couple of moments, but it's not a natural position for him, and the hopes are resting on him really tonight.
Yeah, he did play there quite a lot during the European Championships in the summer, the under-21s. It was a role that he played for
at a lower level.
At a lower level, yeah, but it's not something that he has done for Newcastle with regularity since his move. He's obviously usually used as a wide player. He has done it once or twice, and did do it with effect on Saturday because he scored the only goal of the game.
Yeah, at the end, he went through the middle, but I mean, you know, it was more of a sack. But I would have liked to have seen Gordon down one side, Almiron down the other, and Wilson through the middle, personally. But whether Wilson's got a knock or, as you say, fatigue, you know, you can only know that if you're in the group.
Dortmund 1, Newcastle United 0 on Talksport 2 tonight. And it's a tense end to the game, 30 minutes to go. And the Newcastle supporters behind the goal that they're defending at this moment in time in those green shirts, white shorts and green socks are waiting to see what delivery is forthcoming from Julian Brandt, who's just lining up another set piece midway inside opposition territory. He nods and winks and looks up and drifts the ball towards the back edge of the penalty area. Hummels was coming in underneath it. It's away by Bruno Guimaraes. Sabitzer picks it up left angle, goes back towards the far side. Ryerson's deep cross is headed back across the face of goal by Schlotterbeck. It's then prodded clear by Lascelles, comes back out to Nemecha, and then Schuler keeps it alive. Out to the left it goes. Hummels is still in there, tucks it back. Adeyemi took too long to get his shot away, and Bruno Guimaraes puts it behind and away for a corner.
Adeyemi's done some good things, but his decision-making process at the end of things has been poor. Half a chance here. Touch let him down, and they nicked it off him. But they have a corner, and again a sloppy kind of defensive patch for Newcastle. That's how they conceded the first goal, and they did it again there. They were lucky.
62 minutes on the clock. Adeyemi hasn't scored this season. His last goal was a double against Wolfsburg at the end of last season. Here's Brandt weaving his way towards Almiron, trying to get past him. Almiron does brilliantly, takes the ball off him and manages to steer it out to this near side, and all of a sudden Newcastle have turned defence into attack. They steam forward up to the halfway line. Willock sets it back. Trippier keeps it moving. They need a goal from somewhere, an equaliser, Newcastle.
They're overloading that right side again.
Here comes Livramento, moving forward up towards Almiron, who's midway inside the Borussia Dortmund half. Centrally, the ball is with Guimaraes, goes back out wide. Livramento, Bruno Guimaraes, now combining on that right side. And he's trying to turn and play the ball in field. Trippier is wider on this near touchline. The share brings it forward, finds Willock. Trippier goes beyond his midfield player, then hesitates. Willett gets it back off Joe Linton instead, comes infield, right-footed, takes a shot. It's always going to be difficult to score from that sort of angle. Came off the inside of the leg of his opponent, Schuler, who came out to close him down, and ricocheted into the path of the goalkeeper. So we'll get team news from our 8 o'clock commentary tonight, live here on Talksport 2 from the Championship. It's Ipswich away at Rotherham, and Mark Wilson is there.
Cheers, Sam. Millers make 2 changes from a draw with Queen's Park Rangers. Ayala and Nombe come in for Morrison and Hugill. For the Tractor Boys, there's a first league start for Axel Twenzabi, Jackson and Harness. Harness got a double at the weekend to grab a point at Birmingham. They come in, outgo Wolford and Hutchinson and Broadhead. We're live and exclusive on Talksport 2 for Rotherham against Ipswich.
Looking forward to that, Mark. Thank you very much. As I think Fabian Scher just thought he could catch Gregor Corbett off his line, a halfway line free kick. Tried to chip him, but didn't get the ball any more than 3 metres off the ground.
Wasn't the greatest of efforts, was it? It wasn't quite Harry Kane, that
was some goal at the weekend, well, the weekend before last, wasn't it?
Brilliant.
And then a hat-trick against Dortmund at the weekend. He's in great form at this moment in time. Longstaff as Newcastle win the ball back, and actually then the referee pulls it back and says that was a foul by Kieran Trippier, and Adeyemi's won a free kick. I actually thought that in the end they weren't going to give that foul. It might have been Joel Linton actually who committed it, and I still don't think it's a foul, but it looks at the replay.
Yeah, one of those, wasn't it? Home team get those, I think. But you know, Newcastle have done a lot better second half, they really have, but you know, at 63, 64 minutes, starting to get crucial now. Got to really get a grip of this game.
Well, whatever happens, Eddie Howe's achievements must be acknowledged. They were 4th in the Premier League in 22-23, the club's highest finish since coming 3rd under Sir Bobby Robson 21 years ago. Here's the free kick in towards the centre of the penalty area. It pops up off Hummel's thigh and goes into the arms of Pope, who comes and clears it. But they did get a tough draw as well. This is a huge mountain to climb when PSG, the French champions, come out, Milan, the semi-finalists last season, come out, and Dortmund, who went on an unbeaten run this season at the beginning of the campaign of 9 unbeaten Bundesliga match days for only the 3rd time in their history, are all in the same group as you, and you haven't played in the Champions League for 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely. It was always a tough group, but then, you know, being in pot 4, which they were, Newcastle, they was always going to be the tough group because they were the best team in that pot, and in the end, you know, it could have been equally as hard if they'd have been in another group. So it was always going to be tough for them. But they've given a good account of themselves tonight. They've done okay. They just need to get a goal.
Here is Livramento over on the far side, the right. It's collected by the slender figure of Almiron, and then Guimaraes, who tries to poke it down the right side. It's cut out by Dortmund. Gordon trying to get over there and influence the play. There's a lot of green shirts over on that right touchline, and still Ryerson has come away with the ball. Livramento has to wriggle down to the floor and poke it out of play on the halfway line, and it goes out for a throw.
Yeah, you know, that's just top quality play when you're in those tight areas. That's when you see the levels of these teams. And another great bit of play there from Dortmund, although they've just managed to turn it over Newcastle. You know, it's in tight areas that technically these teams excel, get themselves out of situations that no other teams can.
You would expect them to score though, Newcastle. They are an attacking force to be reckoned with. Only scored this many goals once in the Premier League era when Kevin Keegan's Entertainers ruled the North East, if not quite the Premier League. Ball sent back towards the edge of the penalty area, and Lascelles and Pope, a little bit of miscommunication, and Lascelles didn't take any chances, just decided to hook it over his own head.
Yeah, get it into Rosette there. Good idea, because it was one of them. Is it yours? Is it mine? Is it yours? Is it mine? No, just get rid of it. Well done.
Throw in on the near side. It's level with the edge of the penalty area. Borussia Dortmund on the attack on their right. They try to bring the ball infield, but Newcastle dispossessed them, and then Bruno Guimaraes finds Joel Linton, and Gordon wanted it released quickly. It didn't happen again, and a free kick eventually because Joel Linton is prevented from distributing the ball upfield by Adeyemi. It's a free kick.
Joel Linton's got that great style, hasn't he? You know, he sort of looks like he's not doing things quick enough, but he is. It's just like he saw everything sort of a slow motion around him, but he's done really well tonight. When he's had possession, I'd just like to see him through the middle a little bit more.
Here he is in the middle, almost in a number 10 position, coming forward, 10 yards short of the D. It's played out to Livramento. Gordon on the spin, trying to get away from his marker. Good defending, but Gordon wins it back again inside the box, and he's trying to travel down that right side, and a bit of persistence which didn't quite come off. The ball nicked off his knee and goes behind him and away for a goal kick, but he is a threat.
Yeah, he's got that pace, hasn't he? And you know one thing with Gordon, you can't go near him because he will go down. And there was a couple of lunges at him, and I'm thinking, perhaps they don't know him. You know, he's one of those players that all he takes is a little nick and he's going to go down. But there's been a couple of balls played into him in the central forward position in this little period here, and it's not his game to come short and pick it up. But when it's in front of him, obviously he is a major threat.
Dortmund playing out from the back and beating the press, and Sabitzer charges up to halfway, sends it forward, can't find a full pass though, and Willock now can move it back down the other end of the pitch. It's not a great ball. Joe Linton's on his heels, and Hummels nicks in and wins it, and it's another turnover. Here comes Borussia Dortmund down the right side with Adeyemi getting the better of Livramento, then holds up well and steers the ball behind and away for a corner.
Yeah, he did well there, Livramento, didn't he? He's had a decent game, really. He played out of position, but you know, he's up to pace. He's looking like his former self, you say, after that long injury. Good for him.
It's his Champions League debut tonight, but you would never know it. He was really good when he came up against Grealish in the League Cup earlier in the season. Smothered and shackled the England man. That was his first 90 that he'd played since the ACL.
Terrible injury, that. Terrible.
69 on the clock. Dortmund 1, Newcastle 0. Here's Brandt with the corner, deep towards the far post. Too much space for Hummels, who heads it against the back of Livramento, and it goes out over on the far side. Talking of bad injuries, I was at Tottenham last night. Mickey van der Ven's hamstring, when it pinged, it was like a firecracker going off. Wow. It was awful to see.
I mean, he's been my being my outstanding team of the season. He's been excellent this season, and that's a terrible shame. What a blow to Spurs, that whole game last night. So many things went wrong for them.
20 minutes to go. Nicholas Schuler is causing chaos inside the box, as you would expect.
Trippier's in the land of the giants there. He looks like...
He looks like Schuler's kid. The ball's played into the near post. A flick on by Nemetje, took another deflection and went through. It goes out for another corner. He went darting towards that near post, tried to help it on. And as the ball came in from the left-hand side, he just tried to steer it back across the face of goal. And there was a green jersey to smuggle it behind. Another corner coming in. This is the third in succession for Dortmund, who are putting some pressure on here. Brandt, it's a deep one this time, but it's too close to Pope. And he just takes a couple of steps backwards and grabs it out of the sky. 20 minutes to go, live on Talksport 2, and we welcome listeners from Talksport to Signal Iduna Park, the Westfalen Stadium in Dortmund, where Dortmund lead Newcastle by 1-0. It's a game that Newcastle can't really afford to lose in their pursuit of trying to stay in the Champions League after Christmas. And Dortmund will be favourites to finish second if they continue in this vein. Newcastle made a couple of changes at half-time, bringing Gordon and Almiron onto the field, taking off Wilson and Alan Pardew, who's alongside me, as we have a pause in play here for treatment for Nick Pope. Can tell you about how well Newcastle have progressed in this second half in comparison to the first.
Well, they made a couple of changes at half-time, and it made a big difference to them. They certainly got more potency going forward. And interestingly there, they've made another change. I just see Eddie Howe or his assistant give a piece of paper to Joe Linton, so I think his position will change, and that makes sense for me. I'd like to see him going through the middle here in this last period. What have we got? 20 minutes left. You know, it's a real crucial spell of the game now, and they've got to take chances, got to mix it up.
Yep, we've got a break in play while Nick Pope gets treatment on his right calf. All the players taking a drink on this near side.
I think that was a tactical foul, by the way.
Take the pressure off?
No, that was a foul so that they could all go and have a little chat with Eddie on the sideline.
We'll see what happens and whether or not that makes a difference. It's Dortmund 1, Newcastle 0, and coverage continues on Talksport 2. 72 minutes on the clock, and the Newcastle fans that have made the journey, and by the way, it is a horde of Newcastle fans, as you would imagine, Alan, that have come to Germany.
Yeah.
They have probably eaten Dortmund out of bratwurst, I think, over the last 24 hours.
Probably had a few beers too.
We would suggest that's probably more than likely.
A few Guinnesses. I'm allowed to say a trade name like that.
Here is Almiron down the left-hand side, moving into a wing position. Joe Linton tries to get there and can't, loses out, and then they look to spring the offside trap, and the ball goes back towards the edge of the penalty area. Adeyemi goes down after a collision with Livramento, who's found himself more and more often on this left-hand side now. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, they've changed the team round here a little bit. So he's gone left back. Trippier's gone back to right back, and it looks like to me Almiron's now going through the middle, and Joe Linton is one of the three, and Willock has gone up on the left-hand side. That's what it looks like.
We'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah, it's just, when you're looking for that goal on the sideline, you're just thinking about what can you change just to get a breakthrough. They need to get that goal.
Livramento's had to come centrally with the ball because he's playing off his right foot from the left side, plays it out to Trippier, then Longstaff joins and moves down the right touchline. Infield it goes towards Gordon, who's looking to turn. He's immediately engaged by Dortmund players over on that far side, including Ryerson. And then the ball spills out to Brandt, and he takes it up towards halfway. And they just look to have a little bit more nous about them, don't they, Dortmund? They know how to kill the game, and they know how to see themselves over the line. They're a team that have been knocked out in the last 16 stage 3 times in their last 5 Champions League campaigns. They went out to Chelsea last year, which was quite remarkable, really. They were in Manchester City's group, and Chelsea, even in their terrible state that they were in last year, managed to dispatch them.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen of these 2 games, and particularly this game tonight, they're no threat to winning it. No chance is this Dortmund team going to win the competition. They're going to go out at some stage, and I don't put them as one of the top teams. So really and truly, Newcastle got a push here.
Adeyemi charging to the centre. There's space out wide for Branton in the middle, waiting for the ball, and this breakdown means that it doesn't reach Füllkrug, but it was an opportunity for Borussia Dortmund to get the ball through the middle. There's a crunching tackle by Willock, but it's one that's legal, and a chance to break now. And from the centre circle, Almiron starts to scurry forward. He stops, plays it back out towards the right. Here is Willock, on to Gordon, who's in the right wing position. Someone needs to get in the box now. 15 minutes to go. Gordon moves up to the edge of the area. On the overlap with Trippier. Trippier's cross deep towards the far post. Joel Linton's underneath it. He heads it back. He comes to Almiron. His acrobatic effort hits Ozcan in the face, and it's repelled towards the middle of the Borussia Dortmund half. Back Newcastle come with Joel Linton, edge of the area. Guimaraes threatened to unleash a shot, and then stopped and played it wide. Delivered by Trippier to the far post, headed away by Schüller, and then it comes back out towards Livramento, who's fouled. The referee has played on because they have the advantage. They might have done better with a free kick. Guimaraes out wide towards the right. Livramento doesn't look great. The ball is picked up by Almiron from Trippier. They're right on the angle of the penalty area, looking for a way through. Guimaraes' ball is too heavy, and out comes the goalkeeper and gobbles it up, and the pressure is off Dortmund for now.
At 75 minutes when you're 1-0 down, you'd expect that there's 4 or 5 Newcastle players now in Dortmund's box, probably for the first time in the game. So they're really pushing now, and now you'd expect the second goal. This is either going to be an equaliser or Dortmund are going to catch them out here. So this is where that nous of the Champions League comes in.
Here is Füllkrug out wide to the Dortmund left. Joining the attack is Julian Brandt, whose left-footed ball towards the far stick is a little bit wide of the goal. And Füllkrug, who was dancing through the middle of the pack, emerged on the edge of the 6-yard box, but couldn't quite reach the cross-come shot from Brandt, and it goes behind.
Yeah, Brandt just couldn't get his foot around that. But this game is definitely opening up.
Joel Linton diving in. Adeyemi goes down. Once a free kick, referee says play on. Sabitzer picks it up in front of the centre circle, nudges it towards the Dortmund left. Coming in from that left side, Ryerson finds Brunt again. He goes back to halfway. It remains 1-0 to Dortmund. The goal coming from Füllkrug after 26 minutes. And that goal separates these two as we go into the final 13 minutes of the game. Ball swung from Brandt towards the right side. Schüller who's absolutely huge. He's about 7 foot tall. He's about 3 foot wide. He's so broad, but he's lost the ball here, and there's space now for Newcastle to exploit in behind where he was, and Willock is trying to do that, charging forward. Across comes Hummels, good tackle, but picked up by Almiron on the spill, and then he's fouled by Adeyemi. That's going to be a free kick. Wide on the left-hand side, deep inside Borussia Dortmund territory. It was a good run by Joe Willock.
Great tackle by Hummels. You know, he's been doing that all his career. What a great bit of play that was defensively for Dortmund, because they were caught out there. Right back was right up the top of the pitch. You know, they're not... It's a strange game. You just feel there's a goal here somewhere. There's a goal either for Newcastle or they're going to get caught on the break. It's getting stretched. And Newcastle, to me, a little bit tired, if I'm honest, in certain areas.
Well, they looked tired in the game between the two weeks ago. And they have got so many players out at this moment in time. The mitigating circumstances for whatever happens here tonight, it's worth placing in context.
This is a great opportunity, though. Trippier is good from these positions.
Well, he's on the left-hand side. He'll arc this in right-footed. It's almost like a short hockey corner. He takes it right-footed in towards the near post. No one was attacking it. It was maybe not too far central enough, and now there's a chance to break for Borussia Dortmund, and it's 2-on-1 if it comes in their favour, and Brandt has picked it up, and Livramento's the only player back. He sends it towards the goal and scores on the breakaway. Newcastle punished. Julian Brandt gets his 6th goal of the season. He's been the star man all night for Borussia Dortmund, the key threat, and on the counter-attack from a great chance at one end, Dortmund spring the defence, end up with a 2-on-1, and Julian Brandt finishes off Newcastle United. And on a night where Borussia Dortmund needed to prove they were a force to be reckoned with, they've certainly done that. It's Dortmund 2, Newcastle 0.
It all started from which was a good position from Newcastle, which was a free kick on this left-hand side. It's under-hit it really, Trippier, cleared at the near, gone to the edge, and then they're just caught out. They've just sent too many bodies in there looking for the equaliser, and they've not put the shield on. They broke away, and Brandt, who's been brilliant for me all night, top player, finishes them off, and I don't see really a way back from this. What are we, 78 minutes, 79 minutes now?
Just about to go into the final 10 minutes in the Westfalen Stadium, and Dortmund lead by 2-0. Adeyemi celebrating because he knows that when he picked the ball up on the edge of the penalty area, there were 2 players in yellow in front of him and only 1 Newcastle player. If he got his pass right, Newcastle were in massive trouble. He did get it right, and off went Julian Brandt and finished off a great counter-attack to make it 2-0.
Sometimes when you make changes in a team, you know, you're working on your set plays, but you're working on your own set plays of, you know, making sure you win the second ball or the third ball, whatever comes out. But when you make changes, that can get disrupted, and it obviously got disrupted for Newcastle there. They didn't have enough cover on, and they committed too many players and were wide open.
Marco Reus has come on for Adeyemi, and we've got 10 minutes to go. Newcastle need 2 goals to get anything out of this game, and they haven't really had too many opportunities in the match. Here is Scher trying to thunder the ball forward. Royce, who's come on as a substitute, heads it clear. Brandt flicks it on. 81 on the clock. The ball sent wide towards the left, and Ryerson is speeding forward now, and Newcastle's Champions League hopes are drifting away. It's Ryerson on the edge of the area, right-footed shot, which is not caught well, and it's into the gloves of Nick Pope.
Yeah, Newcastle, you know, when you're 2-0 down, they're going to have to take risks now, and they're starting to, you know, get open. And again, there was an opportunity on the break, but they didn't make the most of that one, Dortmund. You know, this is now looking like a long 10 minutes to me for Newcastle.
Well, Newcastle can only hope that AC Milan do them a favour and beat Paris Saint-Germain a little bit later. At this moment in time, they have 4 points from their 3 games. Paris Saint-Germain 6, and Dortmund will top the group after tonight with 7 points before Paris kick off against Milan. And those 2 will be the top 2 in the most likeliest scenario.
Yeah,
Longstaff wants a penalty. He ran down the right-hand side into the box, and there was a challenge on him by Ozcan. The referee waved it away. Newcastle made another change, and on comes Lewis Miley for a Champions League debut at the age of just 17.
Wow.
And he's back after a spell of glandular fever. He impressed on the pre-season tour, but boy, is he a boy.
Yeah, he's a boy in this game. I mean, the Champions League looks like it's been affected for Newcastle against this team. And this team, although they're good side, Dortmund, you know, if Newcastle were being well with everybody fit, I would have expected these to have won both games. And yet they found themselves losing both games by the looks of it.
Well, they've probably now got to beat both Paris Saint-Germain away and Milan at home to stand any chance of really going through.
Yeah, and it's mounting up, isn't it, the issues, you know, in terms of the players available. That is becoming a concern. I mean, Trippier tonight, probably I've not seen him play as bad as this for a long, long time. He must be fatigued from the run he's had. You know, I don't know, but certain players, it starts to take its toll.
Well, Newcastle have conceded twice away from home, and having had so many issues in terms of fitness and suspension problems and players not available because they weren't in the squad, it meant that they came here with a threadbare squad tonight, and they had to sort of almost work share, job share. Anthony Gordon coming off the bench at half-time, Wilson going off, Joe Willock having to be replaced by a 17-year-old in the middle of the second half. Not the easiest thing to do. Youngsters on the bench like De Bole and Parkinson, who've never played for the club. Ball cleared away by Mats Hummels, high up into the night sky. The header is missed by Cher, and then Lascelles almost got himself in a pickle with Füllkrug. Just about dealt with it. And Newcastle trying to emerge without any further damage. The other problem is having lost twice to Borussia Dortmund, it means that they will be behind them on head-to-head, so they will have to beat them on points in order to go through.
Okay. Yeah, that makes it even more difficult, doesn't it? You know, and you look at Paris, you know they've got that quality, you know, it'll be very, very difficult from this position they find themselves now. What's the question if you finish bottom of the group? Is that it? You're out.
That's the end of your European vacation.
Okay. So the Milan result is definitely important now.
Yep, absolutely vital for Newcastle. It looks like they'll be fighting for maybe a Europa League place, unless they can win in Paris on their next match day, which you can only cross your fingers and hope that they do. The ball spills towards the edge of the penalty area. The referee falls over to give everybody a laugh. It breaks towards the halfway line, and then Newcastle have given it away. And now Brandt is speeding clear again. He's down the left channel. He's got Füllkrug waiting in the centre. The ball isn't great, and Trippier will head that clear. And then it's picked up by Almiron, and they move the ball forward down the right side. Gordon trying to get the better of Slotterbeck, but he just moves rather gracefully into position and nudges it back to his goalkeeper, and it remains 2-0. You just wonder whether those changes, those lack of top-end players like Isaac and Wilson for the whole 90 minutes, if they did have one or two of the others that were available. I'm thinking about Botman, Anderson, Tonali, Kraft, Harvey Barnes, Jacob Murphy, all of those players not available tonight. Would that have made a difference? Would there be someone there that could come up with a trick that would change the course of the game?
Well, I definitely would have given a much better account over these two games with all those players available, there's no doubt. But, you know, Eddie will get on he's going to get on the plane, 86 minutes. I don't think he's going to get anything out of this game. He'll look back on these two Dortmund games and think, my team's probably better than that team, you know, and we've lost two games to them. So I think he'll be really disappointed with these two fixtures. And if he had, the players available to him, it must be galling for him, because I actually do think on paper Newcastle are a better team.
Dortmund 2, Newcastle United 0. Live on Talksport 2 tonight. The ball away over on the far side, and it's collected by Mats Hummels, sent forward to Nemetja. Nemetja cuts infield and plays it wide towards the left-hand side. Now it's with Sabitzer.
just going through the motions here. Borussia Dortmund keeping possession. A lot of their fans left early in their droves on Saturday during the second half to the Bayern Munich when they were defeated so badly. That was significant. It's a club, it's a stadium, it always creates a hostile atmosphere. It's shown its power tonight with a brief protest, and they needed a response from the team, and the team have come up with a performance where they look as if they're going to beat an English side here once again.
And they have, to be honest, even though they've not been brilliant tonight, they have definitely had the most outstanding player in Brent. He's been excellent. Everything he's done. Okay, a couple of times he's not quite got the pass off, but everything that's gone good again about Dortmund has come through him, and never really got to grips with him.
Well, they were bottom of the group by the time that they turned up at St James's Park for the first encounter. They could be top by the time that Newcastle leave here, Borussia Dortmund. These double headers are always defining. The ball is out on the left-hand side. It's kicked infield by Brandt. A Newcastle free kick came to nothing, and Borussia Dortmund have it again. They take it to halfway with 2 minutes to go before the end of the game. Live on Talksport 2, it's Ozcan squeezing it forward, plays it to the edge of the area, and the ball breaks down the right-hand side. Livramento goes across and deals with it before it becomes a serious issue, and then it's cleared up towards the halfway line. Youssoufa Moukoko has come on for Fulkrug for Borussia Dortmund for the final 90 seconds of the game.
They're just seeing it out now. I see Hummels earlier sort of encouraging the team, just keep the ball. They had Champions League experience. Very, very difficult to get at them when they're 1-0. They defended well for that period and then took their chance when it came, and for them probably they're looking at it as a comfortable win.
You do wonder what would have happened if Joe Linton had steered that header.
Oh, that was the moment, wasn't it? So frustrating. He was right there, and I think he's played well tonight as well. I was so unfortunate not to get the goal.
Well, they had a devilishly difficult draw, Newcastle. Passed the test in Milan, worked wonders in PSG, and the home game against them. But these two Dortmund games were always going to be defining. This will be Newcastle's second defeat in 13 games, and both of them have come against Dortmund. Longstaff down the right side, motoring into the area, looking for Almiron. It's too heavy for him. It's going to float away into the right fullback position, and Schuler is going to allow it to go out for a throwing down by the corner flag. We're in the 90th minute of the game, and there will be just 3 minutes of added time at the end of the 90.
It's strange football, isn't it? The weekend they've had Dortmund get slaughtered by Bayern Munich. Fans in as you say, massive, there's a crisis, blah blah blah, and here they are looking like they're going to stroll through the Champions League group of death.
Well, some of the papers this morning in Germany suggesting that there's no point in bothering with this game because there was no chance of them competing for the European Champions League title, so they might as well have sacked it off, but they haven't done that tonight. They've beaten Newcastle well. Dortmund 2, Newcastle 0. We welcome listeners from Talksport. The final few moments here as Livramento comes forward looking for a consolation goal, swings the ball in towards the near post and almost caught out the goalkeeper, and Corbell lifts up his right hand and touches it over the top of the crossbar, and it goes out of play and away for a corner kick late on for Newcastle. There's going to be 3 minutes of added time at the end of the 90, of which we're already into the first of those, and Newcastle are ruining a couple of missed chances, one of them from Joe Linton, which might well have turned the tide in this game. That was at 1-0. Very shortly afterwards they had a free kick opportunity which was defended by Dortmund. They went up the other end and scored a breakaway goal, and now they're staring defeat in the face. Here's the corner from Trippier in towards the middle of the 6-yard box, punched away by Kobo, the goalkeeper for Borussia Dortmund. It breaks, and now a chance for Moukoko, the substitute, to race clear again. He goes to the centre circle. Livramento is across to cover, and he takes it into the right full-back position.
Livramento has probably been the highlight for Eddie Howe tonight. He's been excellent, and this Newcastle side, they had their moment, they had their chance, and unfortunately at this level, if you don't take it, you'll get punished, and they got punished from their own set play, and that's the level you're at.
Well, they had to make changes as well because of the paucity of options in terms of manpower. They took off Wilson at half-time, they rested Almiron and Gordon until the break, and then brought them on for the second half, but despite a second half flurry where they created one or two opportunities, they just haven't had enough to get beyond a stubborn Borussia Dortmund back line. They haven't tested Korbel enough in the game, and just like their game up at St James's Park, Dortmund haven't been perfect, haven't been great, but they've just been a little bit more experienced and had a bit more nous than Newcastle. And as we go into the final 50 seconds, they know they're going to go away with 3 points and finish this game on top of the Champions League group.
Yeah, the detail in this game has been better than Newcastle. They haven't really made any errors. They've always been in their good shape, defended their set plays well, Dortmund, and capitalised on the 2 or 3 chances that they've had, and that's been the difference.
Here come Newcastle trying to weave together some sort of move. Miley runs into traffic, but the ball breaks into the feet of Almiron, who switches the play from right to left. On the left angle of the penalty area, it's collected by Gordon. The overlap is Trippier playing left back now. Swings the ball in towards the middle. It falls inside the box. The effort from Almiron is repelled by the defence, and somehow it's smuggled clear and out to the far side and away for a throw-in. And the referee then blows the full-time whistle. Well, they've got it all to do now. Newcastle United have lost back-to-back Champions League games to Dortmund and will be relying on a bit of luck and a victory at Paris Saint-Germain if they are to progress to the last 16 of the Champions League. A performance that was hindered by the unavailability of 11 players tonight, a squad ravaged by injury and suspension. It was always going to be unscalable getting out of a group that contained 3 Champions League winners, but that climb looks a lot more difficult now, almost impossible thanks to defeat here. But there's still 2 games to go, and whilst there is games to go and points to play for, there is still a glimmer of hope. But a lot of that hope may well have been extinguished tonight in Dortmund, where it's finished Dortmund 2, Newcastle United 0.
Sam, thanks very much. Former Newcastle manager Alan Pardew. Let's talk about the game. I'll give you the group first of all. Group F looks like this. Dortmund on top with 7 from the 4 games. PSG about to face AC Milan away. They're on 6 in second place. Newcastle now in third, 4 points from the 4 games. With back-to-back defeats, as Sam was saying, and AC Milan bottom of the table with 2 points from 3 games. So these defeats against Dortmund, very, very painful for Newcastle, but it isn't all over. But what seems really weird to me, Alan, explain this. How can they look so brilliant against Paris Saint-Germain and hammer them and then lose back-to-back against Dortmund? How can that happen?
Well, you know, you can have a special night, and that definitely was a special night, where you play above yourselves. And, you know, these 2 Dortmund games, you'd have to say they probably was just below the level that they've set themselves. And that's tribute to them to get into this Champions League format. But the last game and this game, they just didn't have enough. And, you know, particularly tonight, even with the players missing, the players who are on the pitch, a couple of them looked tired. Trippier didn't have his greatest games. The Shells looked a little bit lethargic. You know, it's starting to take its toll. The context of the games they've had, you can't imagine what Arsenal took out of them at the weekend. That was a real physical, real proper encounter, which they've come through and won. But the emotion of everything, it's a tiring factor. And they've given it a good go tonight. And if Joe Linton would have connected with the cross in the way that he should have, actually, it could have been a different outcome. But when that miss happened, I think me and Sam looked at each other, we sort of thought, that might have been their moment, and it ended up being their moment, because, I don't know, 10 minutes later, the outstanding player on the night, Brent, he's wrapped it up with a fine finish on the breakaway.
It was a fine finish, but it was 2 against 1 on that breakaway, and I do wonder how that happened. One Borussia Dortmund player, I think it was Brandt, has had to sprint from almost a defensive position to make it 2 against 1, but nobody's sprinting with him, so that's a big error at the back for Newcastle.
Yeah, but you know, as I was saying in the commentary, you know, they've been caught out committed at a set play where they're trying to push for the equaliser, and when you make a load of subs, your organisation doesn't always sort of work out. A sub can forget what his role was, and in the end they've been sucker punched really, and the recovery runs got caught them out, which is a shame, because they probably didn't deserve the scoreline, but in terms of got a 2-0 defeat. But that's what they got when you make an error like that.
Indeed. Sam mentioned 11 players out. There's no doubt that's having an effect and increasing the levels of tiredness and decreasing the levels of quality of the 11 that Eddie Howe can put out on the pitch. And I think we saw that with the first goal. Listen, Lewis Hall is a teenager. I think he got done for that, and then nobody's picking up Fulkrug, who scores the goal in the end. What I find interesting about that is I wonder what's going to happen with Dan Burn out, Matty Targett out. Does Lewis Hall stay at left back, or does Kieran Trippier go to left back like he does for England? And a man who you thought played really well tonight, Livramento, does he make the right back spot his own?
Well, you know, Trippier has been outstanding. I didn't think he was great tonight, but he's been absolutely brilliant for Newcastle. You know, so I can't see him moving him. I think he'll stay at right back. But Livramento, he had a great performance. But you've also got Dummett. And Dummett was brought up through the academy and through the years when I was there as a left back. There's no problem. Dummett can play left back and give you that balance of a left footer there. But he does have the option, of course, as you quite rightly say, of putting Trippier at left back. So he has a couple of options left, but they're starting to run out. And that's the problem when you get into Europe. It happened to me when I got in the Europa League. I didn't have the quality of this group, unfortunately. But we really suffered in the League Cup and the FA Cup and some of the league games with just a lack of quality numbers. And as you said as well, the fatigue does play a factor.
Yeah, it was an evening game, remember, on Saturday, so it just cuts down the number of hours recovery time as well. What about the group then, as it looks? Group F, Dortmund on 7, PSG on 6, about to play. Newcastle now 4 points from 4 games, AC Milan bottom 2 from 3 games. Newcastle away to PSG later this month, and then next month at home to AC Milan. They've kind of got to get something away to PSG, it feels like.
Well, in terms of a Champions League's progression, but I think realistically, after today's defeat, I think the Europa League is something they have got to have their eye on. And if I was Eddie, probably hoping that PSG win that game and then go and try and beat Milan at home and get into that Europa Cup competition, because this one does look like a bridge too far at the moment in terms of qualifying.
And in terms of Premier League as well, because they've got to maintain that charge and try to keep up a top 4 possibility. It's going to be very difficult to manage and juggle the players, really.
Yeah, of course, and that's and there's no, you ain't going to get no sympathy from the media or your fans. There's like, oh, he's got so many players missing, but you lose a game, you're still going to get the same pressure start to build. And I think that journey home tonight is going to be a tough one, because they got another big game at the weekend, and they're losing bodies left, right and centre, and so it starts to impact on the confidence of the group. So put this behind them tonight, move on, and try and get a result the weekend.
Alan, great to talk to you. Enjoyed your commentary tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Former Newcastle manager Alan Pardew, after Borussia Dortmund beat Newcastle by 2-0, back-to-back defeats in the Champions League against the Germans for Eddie Howe's side, and now work to do to get out of Group F.